for that matter, also affecting, yeah.
Right.
And also we are looking at the issues of the internet exposure to certain sites. As a psychiatrist, I've done much research there, and you hear that somebody was so much glued on the internet, then decides to go and kill himself. So I really believe that sometimes we have to be careful of the kind of sites we get onto internet. Yeah, some of it is dangerous.
Some of it is dangerous.
Yes.
We need to control, especially
That's
for our children.
Right.
Now, let me come to you, Winnie. Maybe you tell us a bit about your journey, dealing with, mental challenges and getting to a point where you can actually talk about it and comfortably do so, because it's not just a process you go through in a day. Tell us a bit about that.
All right. For me, it began in 2013 when I had to drop out of school because I didn't have school fees in campus. And then after that, coming into 2014, I was homeless and I didn't have a place to stay. Everybody who I knew stepped out of my life suddenly, and that really disoriented me. It got me to a space of questioning why I'm here. First, why am I here? And also being a believer in God, I was asking questions to God. Why is this happening to me? Why is my family not here? Why are my friends not here?
Why me?
Why me? Yes. So, and that was that just happened after I just launched into my career into acting, and things looked good, And then suddenly this was happening. Suddenly I didn't have a home. Suddenly I didn't have a place to stay, and I was not able to go to school. And that was a very difficult season for me. So that's when it began. And I tried to hide from it by running away. I decided to change towns. I moved to Mombasa because I thought that maybe that will help me deal with the situation. And then I realized I was running away from the real issue. I was not solving it. So I had to come back and deal with it.
All right. And we'll be getting to know how you got to that point where you actually say, I have to deal with it. Because, I think that's an area that not many people are able to get to by themselves. Let's hear from you, Wendell. Also, you had mentioned something to do with depression. Tell us a bit about that.
I am a bipolar victim. Depression is, there is hypermania and there's depression in bipolar. So I was diagnosed with bipolar in 2017, May. As she said, relationships are a very big trigger. So I was triggered by my previous relationship and my family. Don't get me wrong, by the way. I would not say, we all have to live with our family. That's the funniest thing. We have to deal with our family every single day. Wakue that they're triggers or they're not, you have to deal with them. So there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to live and learn how to accommodate them. And as well, they have
mechanisms.
Exactly, and they also have to go through counseling as well, so that they can know how to handle you. So in 2017, I tried suicide. I tried killing myself. Well, it was in vain. God didn't want me to go, so here I am.
You
are. I'm telling you. So I was admitted for 2 months. It was such a hard time, very sad time. By the way, it was such a dark time. I could not understand why. I did not want I felt like no one would understand. Even the doctor was just medicating me. I was trying to see a counselor, but I got to a point I was like, I told my psychiatrist, honey Saidi, let it just stay. You just inject me, let me sleep. Because I just don't feel like I want to see myself go through another day. It was so tough, but by the day I learned prayer really works. Faith, spirituality really has to come in when you're going through mental illness. And I started reading the Bible, and every day this is what I used to do. This is the Bible. God gave me a verse to open to read today.
Random.
And where my eyes just look weirdly, it's like that verse is for me. It's just for me.
Speaking to you.
So, and it got easier by the day. By the day, I do that morning, lunch, evening, because in between I have visitors. So morning, lunch, evening, I do that. And funny enough, while I was in hospital, I met a friend. I got a friend. A girl who was also going through bipolar. and she was in like a corner. So she was going to shower. She saw me on my bed and she told me, you look like a lawyer. I was like, I'm not even a lawyer. She was like, but why are you so skinny? I'm like, it's because of troubles, like why you're here. So she was like, wow, I'd want to know your story, but you know what? Pray right now as I shower, then I come and talk. And weirdly, I needed to pray because I didn't know someone was coming to see me and they were a trigger. So for some reason, she just told me, pray about it as I come back from showering.
All right.
And when I prayed, when I opened my eyes,
The trigger.
the trigger is here. I was like, okay, it didn't feel bad because weirdly, God gave me the strength.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was able to have a conversation, but very short. And I was like, I'm sorry, but I can't have you here. I can't stand you right now, but thanks for coming.
All right.
Sure.
Now, we'll be
Yeah.
continuing with that in a
All
bit.
right.
And you had mentioned, you know, the family. And I'd like to
Yeah.
come to you, Adidjo, you know, the role of the family when it comes to being a trigger and a source of help for a person with, you know, struggling with mental health.
All right. First of all, I used to do the Bible like that until I came across Deuteronomy 28:28, and I had to stop.
Why?
Just read it. Anyway, through nothing of my doing, I'm finding myself having this conversation from, lack of a better word, this end, not the deep end. You know, the shallow end where I have not had any cases or people near me.
Yeah.
But when you start to remember, I had like a cousin or a friend, and you know, I was a bit young. That's when you start to realize, kumbe, this might have been an issue, might have been depression, might have, you know, addiction and all. So it's a good question, the support and all. We don't understand. Really, we don't. It's just like how we have toddlers. They can't speak. They can't, you know, they're just learning to walk and they need they need water.
Yeah.
So what the toddler would do is that they would cry and get your attention.
Yeah.
You know, when you have someone who probably is deaf and you don't know, and you meet them the first time, you need to get time and just, you know, realize, this person, we can't communicate kawaida. And unfortunately, especially in Kenya, because, well, I live in Kenya, I'm a Kenyan, like I said, it's a taboo topic. We have pushed all these issues to being, you know, church, like the church says, it's you know, we need to exercise.
Just pray for
them, lay hands. You know, what is it, my daughter? You know, call a pastor without even taking time just to I'm not
understand.
saying prayer does not work. I am a firm believer of prayer. But, however, not but, however, we need to just get time and, you know, listen to people talk. And as much as we are laying hands on them, let's also speak to their spirits, to their souls, because that is what is crying out. So there's that, and there's also witchcraft, which people believe, you know, like genetics, that family, walirogo, and it's these words. And unfortunately, I used to be people who would say, izo kurogoa kuchizi, you know, and my interactions I became careful in how I put it, how I say it, and I realized that this is anyone. It could be me.
Yeah.
Could be my brother. Like Dr. Ria said, some have not been discovered, diagnosed, and told this is what you're suffering from. But really, I feel, especially as parents, and just to be support systems, let's be there. Let's talk about it, and then let's involve prayer. Let's lay hands after. Yes.
While you have also tried other avenues.
Yes.
Now, let me come to you, Winnie. You know, just looking at the whole aspect of the family being involved, how much do you think it would have gone in just trying to help you go through that journey? Because you had mentioned, you know, you found yourself in a place where you were alone.
Yeah.
What if your family was there? How much do you think that would have helped you to just go through that phase of life?
I think it would have helped me a lot.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was actually coming from a family circle, it made it worse, because these are my closest people, you know.
Yeah.
So why would you do that to me? So it really disoriented me a big time, and I felt, if my family can do this to me, really,
So the family can be both a trigger and a source of solution.
Exactly.
But in this case, it was more on the trigger side before it got to a point where, you know, they could offer help.
Yes.
All right. Let me come to you, Doctor. You know, can we really blame the family? Because most of the time we don't understand. Mr. Mangati, are we the black duck in the family? We always give labels that sort of excuse their behavior, but we don't try to understand as a family that, maybe this person could be struggling with a form of mental health condition.
In fact, regarding the family, let me say there are two aspects. A lot of mental disorders are a result of family, dysfunctional families where parents fail to be parents, or where you have domestic violence or gender-based violence, and a child grows up seeing his mother or father being beaten. So that, and in even some cases you find in families there's incest, there's, there's rape, defilement. So family can be a source of mental illness. Or you find you're raised in a family where there's no love, the parents come, you're hiding, or they are drunkards, or you hide because the dad is coming and is going to beat all of you. So usually such children grow up to develop mental disorders. But so that's one aspect. The other aspect is for people who are sick, family support is part and parcel of management. When we manage them, it's holistic. Apart from the medication, counseling, prayer, and everything, the family is crucial. So, you're looking at two aspects. The love and support of the family is very important. Lack of love and dysfunctional family
is the
causes. So, family is where all this begin. Begin with the family.
With your family, did you have to deal with the fact that you're saying, maybe it's a curse, maybe she's just a reject or acting out or being entitled? Did you have to deal with that with your family?
For me, I think it was labeling, and I think for me, probably a reject. That's the word I could use. I was not fitting it. I remember most times we used to disagree over many things. And maybe to them it came out as maybe rebellion, but I was just pursuing my dreams. And I think that mindset got them to where now they thought, we actually don't need you. You can just go. And that's how I got homeless.
All right. All right. Let me come to you, Wendy. Was it the same case with you in terms of your family actually just trying to accommodate you and make you feel like you belong, or it was a case of a label to just try and explain the situation?
Okay, as for me, it was more of comparison. Comparison is such a big thing, by the way. Never tell your child. With a sibling. Never tell your child, huwezi kuwa kama sister yako mkubwa ama brother yako. No, we are born different. We have different destinations. We're born, like you're brought to this world with a different purpose from your sibling. So you cannot tell me, huwezi kuwa kama up to date. I keep saying it, Mom, Dad, stop comparing me. It's a trigger. You compare me once, I feel bad. Second time, I feel bad. Third time, I start feeling now like it starts affecting me. Like it's actually getting to me.
It gets the balls rolling.
Now, and from there now it gets to now the extremes, and now we don't want to get there. So parents, kindly stop comparing your children. We are all different. Yes.
We're all different.
And
that is a thing that parents just throw around, and we don't know the damage that you do to your child.
I'm telling you.
And we take it casually. And these are the conversations that need to start from home. Now, looking at, even awareness when it comes to how we communicate with our children. Let me start with you, Edijo. Do you think we need to also get, counseling, not because, you're struggling with a form of mental illness, but because it is necessary for a family setup?
Yes.
Yes,
we do. We need to. Family is the base. It's the root of the society. And when we get it wrong at the family level, our society, our nation, our continent, the world, whether you believe in God or not, will suffer. Back in the days, comparing and contrasting were really normal things in our families. I never became number one, right? So, but my bros were, 1, 2, 3, and I was like the mid, number 5. I think the best I was number 5, yeah, actually number 5. But thankfully, I was never given names by my parents. You know, I wasn't called the not so bright one or stuff. My parents were really kind, and you know, we all have our strengths. And it's something I'm learning even with my children.
Yes.
Just to encourage them. And this might have worked when he was 1 year. This other one is almost 1.5, and they're not working. But, you know, just trying to see how everyone is special in their own way.
Yeah.
My concern, however, I don't know whether it's a question, is what happens to the people who do not have the family? Because we are saying the family is either a trigger or a source of support system.
Yes.
What of the one who's listening and they're thinking, okay, I got into this because I didn't have family. How do we become? So that's where I come in and say we need to be our brother's keeper. We need to let, you know, men hug your fellow man, you know, just tell them it's going to be okay.
Don't be weird about
Yeah,
it.
don't be just, you know. Let's have a space where I can meet my fellow artist and say, yo, what's up? How you what are you going through? Let's create that family bond. I'm your brother, you're my sister.
Yeah.
Right? So I think family at the end of the day is key in si lazima ikuwe your
Blood ties.
Yes,
All
just
right.
your pals.
Now, let's quickly move the conversation along and look at some of the challenges that come along, you know, with the mental health illnesses and the conversation to start with. And let's start with the communication breakdown that is there when it comes to mental health illnesses. Let me start with you, Winnie. You know, clearly you did not have a proper, there wasn't proper communication between you and your family.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe if there was a proper understanding and a way of communicating with your family, it would have helped the situation?
Most definitely. I think if they would have tried to listen and
Understand your form of communication?
exactly, and also explain to me better what they meant when they made the decisions they made, yeah, that would have really improved our relationship. Yeah.
So communication was a big problem, you know, at least in your situation.
Clear communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And maybe we'll come to you, Dr. You know, maybe we might not understand the impact or the depth that communication goes when it comes to just getting a message out and it being understood the way you'd like for it to be understood.
Extremely important, Jane. We need awareness. The public need to be aware. What is mental illness? What are the causes? What are the early signs? And how do we prevent? You know, and this program is doing a good job. I think we need more of this so that the public know about it, because knowledge is power.
Yes.
Yes.
Knowledge is power. All right. Let me come to you, Wendy. You know, yours was more of emotional disturbance and communication as well with your family. Do you think that actually, if that was sorted before your condition actually got worse, it would have stopped the situation?
Yes, yes. If, as of now, my parents are very understanding. Aside from being the parents who just tell you, Omba, utapona. Aside from that, and aside from that, actually, everything is going on well. So if they only did that, then I don't think I'd be suffering this much. I don't think I'd have to take medication. I don't think I'd ever
That's
have
a
to
bullet
feel...
that would have been avoided.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have to actually ever feel suicidal at some point. So they're doing a really good job right now, would not lie. I'm growing up. I'm knowing these life hacks and everything. I mean, psychiatrists play a very big role as well, and psychologists. Reading books helps. Watching stories of people who are going through the same thing helps as well.
Yes.
But I've learned as well to cope with it. So it's easier for me to understand, waelewe wasielewe, niko sawa. But for any other
The conversation
person,
starts with you.
yes. So for any other person, parents need to be really understanding. They need to understand the children. They need to communicate as well. Clear communication. And you really need to know your child doesn't like being shouted at. Sawa, I will not shout at her. I'll address the issue as it is, but calmly.
Yeah.
If I see I'm a trigger, I'll talk to someone to talk to her. Like, always find a solution. And at the end of the day, always be your child's best friend. That's what I always say. Your parent is the only person who cannot gossip about you. You'll tell your auntie, you'll talk to your friends, you'll talk to your counselor. I mean, But when you talk to your mom, your dad, these are the people who brought you to the world.
Yeah.
So they're the same people who would listen to you, hug you, and you'll feel much better.
Yes.
So I actually feel like communication is key,
Yeah.
and be understanding parents. You'll play a very big role in you.
Communication
Yeah.
is key, and once it breaks down, it could be the beginning of so many other problems. Now, another problem that is in the community is just stigmatization and discrimination that comes along with any form of mental challenge. Tell us a bit about that. From your interaction with the people, you work with young people, you know, in the film industry, in the creative industry, especially there. Because if you are not in your proper state of mind, you're considered otherwise, you know?
Well, tunaitwa wasanii, those people. Winnie mentioned in terms of especially actors who play roles,
Yeah.
and in our minds we know them as that person.
Yeah.
And when we meet them on the streets or somewhere, it's normal. Hey, what's up? Like, Jane, what's up? Are you doing? And probably you need just a bit of space and
You're
all.
not in character.
Yeah, or you are going through stuff. So I feel, however, that the issue in terms of communication and stigma is because we do not have the facts and the information with us. Where I was a year ago, with all this information, and where I am right now, two totally different places. Because I now, I don't, it's not funny, you know, like, we are, you know, you just can't
You
wait.
wouldn't just brush it off as you
Yeah,
would,
you know,
some
I might
time
not
back.
have the capacity to handle, but I know I would refer you. So in my interactions, I realize that there gets to a point where we want to close ourselves, especially when we have these mental breakdowns. One, we might harm ourselves or harm other people. Two is that we have, it's also strange to the people who are also affected. It's strange
Yeah.
because they don't know what
What
the
is
next,
happening,
or they're in a condition where they also don't know themselves. So I think the key thing here is, let's talk about it. Let's desensitize. Let's work on the stigma.
Let's start talking about it.
And we have avenues. Let's use films. Let's use artistic pieces. Let's talk about it. Because you know the 2 million. So after the census, we might be 55 million. You know, the 53 million need to know how to deal with the 2 million who are suffering from depression.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not our fault that we don't know how to deal with these guys. It's just that we need to have the information out there. Let's talk about it. Like we talked about HIV/AIDS, and now people can come and say, you know, I'm living with it. You know. Let's talk about mental wellness. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it until people understand and use facts.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm sure we'll clear the stigma.
We will,
Yes.
a step at a time. Now, another challenge that also comes along, you know, when in terms, especially now when you're seeking, you know, help, is the financial constraint that may come along, especially when you're seeking medication. And let me hear from you, Winnie. Was it a problem, you know, financially, just trying to get the necessary medication that you needed, the necessary help that you needed?
For me, I had the advantage of being cancelled from a free counseling center. So I didn't have that challenge. But of course, I wasn't employed then. And I had to figure out how I'm going to get there. It was still a hard space. So that plays a big role in actually someone getting helped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. So many people might shy away from seeking, you know, professional help due to the financial tags that come along with it.
In fact, medication for depression and other mental disorders is so expensive. And a lot of people are struggling with it. Unfortunately, the insurance companies have allocated very minimal money for finances.
And some don't even cover.
Yeah, some don't even cover. And yet, depression and mental disorders are just like any other illnesses. So I think that we need to lobby for that to change. Otherwise, medication, we need to lobby for the prices to be more affordable. It's quite expensive.
It is quite expensive. Now, another area that maybe might not be considered as a challenge, but could be a challenge, is, you know, the healthcare providers who actually offer these services. We go to them and maybe they are, we hope that they are the sources of our solutions. And you got to a point where you just wanted To be drugged, you just leave.
Yeah.
Just give me the meds, I sleep, because you didn't feel like the healthcare provider was being, as helpful as you thought it would be. Do you feel that was actually an area that needs to be addressed, even when it comes to even counseling the counselor?
Yeah. First of all, hospitals need to stop secluding a person with mental illness, because this is what they do. Despite what hospital, I'm talking out of experience. One, they put you in a ward for psychiatric people. Once you're put there, you feel like you're different, like you're detached, like you're sick.
You're already given
in
a
your
label
head.
at the hospital.
It's like they're already telling you, huna akili mzuri. And this is a hospital where you're going to seek help.
Yeah.
Two, doctors, not even doctors, nurses treat you. They don't treat your problems like urgent. You drink the beer, you have a headache. They will not attend to you very fast because they know unisumbua tu anatusumbua tu. Like, this is something that needs to be addressed in these hospitals, because we are paying. We are paying, first of all. Our insurances are giving us minimal covers, yet we're not getting quality, we're not getting our full to a maximum like how I need to be treated when I go to hospital is not how I'm being treated because I'm just a mental illness victim. So they need to treat us totally different because we're normal people. We need to be put in normal wards, like put me in a ward of someone who has a tummy pain, not in the ward of someone who has another psychological problem. It's said that it's usually better because you help each other, but...
Did you feel like your time they actually helped?
No, because how they treat you, the problem is, see that whole ward, they know all those people have psychiatric problems. So the way they treat you, all of you, it's totally different. The nurses have already put it in their head. So they don't attend to you as they're supposed to be. And the only person who helps you is when the doctor comes. You tell him your problems, it will be addressed at that point. And then before the doctor comes the next day, you'll have to suffer. That's why I was always telling the doctor, hey, inject me, I sleep the whole day, because I can't hack. I can't hack now nurses who don't want to listen to. Maybe it's even something else. Maybe it's even the drugs that are affecting me. But they don't want to listen, they don't want to attend to me, so inject me, I sleep. So hospitals need to address this, please.
Right.
Yeah.
The way they go about in offering that care.
Yeah.
Yes, Eddie.
I have, it's more of a question to Daktari probably. Is there a rough number of psychiatrists in Kenya practicing and also like available? Because in my research, I don't know, I got very, very few numbers. I don't want to.
We are understaffed. Actually, Kenya, we have, is it 1 in 500,000 population? We are so few. Probably less than 100. For the population,
I think the figure was around 40.
maybe it has.
88.
No, it's more than that now. But it's definitely understaffed right now. And we are hoping that more doctors will come and do psychiatry.
Yeah.
To
just try
but I would like to mention that now what we are encouraging is holistic care. Holistic care where when a patient is admitted, there are a lot of activities. There's occupational therapy, there's music therapy, there's art therapy, and counseling, and
you find
drama, and that's really the ideal kind of scenario, and that's what we are actually encouraging in our facility.
All right. Now let me come back to you, Eddie Joe. Another challenge that is there, but some people don't want to admit is a challenge, is using religion as an excuse to seeking professional help.
Religion. I have read the Bible and I can comfortably say from my understanding, my Eddie Joe, I think we have Elijah, Daniel, I'm not sure, but we have Elijah, Jeremiah. I think those are a few examples of people who had some mental issues, depression. There's a time even Elijah says, kill me, Lord, kill me now, Religion is key in a man's life. Spirituality is key. We have gotten to a place where we have hidden the issues, and not just even in mental wellness, but even in life, and we do not want to deal with them.
Yeah.
I respect men of God. They have a calling in life to preach the gospel, and that in a way makes them feel they are capable of handling issues in church.
All
And
issues.
they are not.
Yeah.
That is why they are being encouraged to go and go do a course in psychology.
Yeah.
Understand because when you attack a mental issue spiritually, peke yake, it's one of the ways to deal with it, but when you use spiritually alone, you're going to lose your person, your people, the sick person, right? The victim, the sick person, right?
Yeah.
You're going to lose them. It is one of the ways. It is not the only way.
Yeah.
Seek counsel in God and also in books. Study. You will reach out to people when you have your facts with you, when you have everything, when you have engaged daktari, and then now pray. But don't use religion, because it's a sword. It's a double-edged sword. It will cut either to kill or to expose the problem.
Yes.
So
And
my
still have the
advice
owner.
would be, let's go back and also have our facts. So that when we pray, even when you're praying to God, you're telling them, we only have 8 practicing psychiatrists, Lord, touch them, Yeah, it might move him more.
Now, let me come to you in terms of, just the people around you, whether your family or not, trying to just help you even ensure your safety as a person. What more do you feel the people around you need to do, or around any person who may be struggling with any form of mental health need to do to just try and help this person and ensure that their safety is number one, even as they go about in helping them recover from where they are?
First, I think we need to stop giving people labels. Yeah, like, okay, I can relate with Dr. Margaret here, but I should not first see her as a doctor. I should see her as a human, someone who goes through all the challenges any human can go through, and not to first relate to her as a doctor, because then I have put her in a box. There are things I won't allow her to do or to say because she's a doctor. Yeah. And it's the same thing as an artist or a filmmaker or, an entrepreneur. If you see people through the image you have put upon them, like this is who they are, this is who you want them to be, then you already are labeling them. You're already putting them in a box, and you're not helping them become better. You're not allowing them to expose their fears and their failures and the things that are really troubling them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So labels need to just stop being thrown around like goody-goody.
Yeah.
Dr. when it comes to ensuring the safety of this person who would like to help recover from whatever mental health challenge that they may be going through, what do the people around the patient need to do? Because most of the time we think we know.
First of all, understand about the illness, and then we usually teach them how to handle the patient, what to do and what not to do. So for us, managing the patient means also educating the family. It's called psychoeducation. That's very crucial. Like any other illness, by the way, even if you have hypertension, diabetes, cancer, the family need to know how to handle
manage,
you. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So the family, it could go a long way in terms of the family just knowing how to, going through a program that will help.
Yeah. I wanted to add something about the spiritual issue. In my over 24 years of experience in mental health, I realized holistic care is the ideal approach, like the one I mentioned. But I just wanted to, my experience is that God is in everything. The doctors who will treat you, the psychologists who will counsel you, the exercise, the music therapy, that's to me, I see it is in agenda.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. What about you, Wendy, when it comes to the people around the patient, not the patient now? Because sometimes we feel anahitaji hii, anahitaji hii, anahitaji hii, anahitaji hii. What more do the people around the patient need to do to become productive and sources of help for the patient?
Let me answer that question as a whole. They've answered it very well. But I feel like it needs to be a subject in school. It needs to start.
Education,
Yes. It needs to start from nursery to, if you want everyone to know about it, if you want to create positive stigma about it, how are we going to do it? We have to, everyone needs to be educated about it. Everyone needs to know that this person might be sick. I need to address. When you're educated about it, when someone acts a certain way, you'll know how to approach them. Criticism will end. All this will end. People will stop suffering. The cases will decrease. So if the Ministry of Education would try, make it a make a syllabus out of it, as they are now changing the syllabus,
Make it part
and
of the
make it a
curriculum.
subject,
Yeah.
yes, that would go a long way, because now everyone needs to know about it. And how will everyone know about it? People are being born every day, but we cannot say that watajua tu akiwa kubwa. No, how will we? They will criticize maybe a child in school, and this child is going through mental health. So we need to deal with it from core, from malinanzia. So when the baby is born, akianza kwenda shule, then psychology should be there. Psychology should be a subject in school.
Love
Yes.
that. Speaking solutions.
Yeah.
Speaking solutions, not just throwing problems and not offering solutions, because we're very good at that. Now, let me come to you, Edijo. You are using film to sort of bring a solution, and you are doing this through a film that will be launched very soon. Tell us some of the key areas that you're looking to address with this film.
Just a minute. In terms of my research, I met like 6 people, 3 of whom they say they thank God for recovering, and 3 of whom do not want to do anything with God because they feel He has let them down. I agree we need to approach it holistically, and where what relates to me to use that. So back to the film is it's Lost in Time. Lost in Time looks to address the whole issue of mental wellness in 4 key areas. One is about stigma, and just talk about it. Let's talk about it. Like Wendy has said, the government, if the government would push, just again, like the HIV talk, the AIDS talk, if we'd push, because Mr. Ngari will be very proud of me right now. Usipo ziba ufa, utajenga ukuta. Yes, we know. So let's ziba the ufas right now. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, because this is, and that's one way Lost in Time will just, it's stigma, it's a taboo. Let's talk about it.
Lost in Time is the name of the
Lost
film?
in Time is the name of
Alright.
the film. Second one is support system. Support systems, we've all had how in our different exposures to mental wellness, we need the support system. We are key on that in terms of the film, how to offer it and how it will be offered, of course artistically. Number 3 is just the availability and access of mental health care. In terms of medicine, holistic medicine or therapy, we need to address that, because not everyone in Kenya can access, right? And those who can access, they say it's pretty expensive. And finally, and this is where I think my heart and the story, I'm the writer of Lost in Time. Yeah, I think this is where it's just the story of hope.
Yes.
There is hope. This is not the end. You know, I love what you said, that there's something you had attempted, but you're here, right? This is a hope story. The fact that you failed, and thank God you did, there's somebody watching you and you're telling them, you know, you can come and talk about it. So the story of hope.
Yes.
We can live with this, we can deal with it, and we can face life in a different way.
All right.
4 key areas.
We are glad you failed at something.
I know.
Now, let me come to you, Winnie. When it comes to just using something like music and spoken word, as you do, to just try and bring change, do you feel that, you know, other creatives could also go along using their crafts and just trying to bring the conversation and bringing change and solutions while at it?
Yeah, sure, they can. For me, I think the time I wrote the most pieces was during those times. I felt those are the times I could hear God so clearly, because it was just me and Him anyway. Yeah, so that's the time I wrote many pieces. That's the time I wrote many songs. Yeah, and that's the time I felt I grew in my perspective of who God is. Yeah.
All right. And in terms of changing the attitude towards, you know, seeking professional help when you actually need it, because we also tend to like, when you can't call, wataona, like, I'm not okay, and you shy away from seeking professional help. What would be your advice, especially to the creatives in the industry?
Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Do it afraid. Do it afraid, yeah? It's okay to feel the fear, but do it afraid, because when you step out to do it, you're moving towards growth. You're moving towards becoming better. And you never know who might be inspired by that move you're taking. Yeah, so just do it. If you need someone to reach out to, do so, but don't hold it back. And I'm also glad to say that I reconciled with my family and we're really good right now. Hi guys. We'll fight later. But yeah, I'm so happy that God turned that story around and it can now be used in this way. And I'm glad that it's out here now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And these are some of the ways that we're looking to bring out, just because it was a dark, as my pen flies away, just because it was a dark time, it doesn't mean that you cannot come from where you are.
Yeah.
And the family, as you can see, plays a very integral role. The family is the basic unit of everything. Even at your workplace, you have your own family over there. Wherever you go, you have a form of family that helps you stay grounded, stay anchored. And as you can see, it is part of the journey when it comes to dealing with any form of mental challenge that may come along. Now, another issue I'd like for you to touch on, Dr. is the use of social media as both an enabler and a trigger, and how we can sort of find a balance between the two.
It's amazing, yeah. They say Kenya is one of the highest internet users of social media in the world.
Imagine.
Yeah, it's amazing. So many people are on social media. I feel social media is a platform that can really reach out to help educate the public on mental health, wellness, and basically a form of communication where people who are in trouble can actually seek help through the social platform. So that I may not afford 2,000 shillings to see the consultant, but maybe one will be able to afford some kind of interaction, and some of us are looking at that. We're hoping that to set up something like that will reach out to so many.
Yeah.
So it is an enabler. But a trigger in that, just like there are good things in the media, there are also bad things. And I know of people who just get onto certain sites and then it's like there's some mind control things, I don't know, subliminal messages that actually feed into somebody's head. And you end up thinking of suicide when you are not like that.
Yeah.
So it can be dangerous. Yeah. So I would just advise, don't just go blankly into the internet and see anything. Some things are dangerous. Yeah. For me, I usually pray. I say, God, if it's something bad, let me just not look at it. Yeah.
Keep me away.
Keep me away. Yeah, that helps me.
Jesus.
That helps me.
Wendy, also your thoughts when it comes to social media as both an enabler and a trigger or a causative agent, and how you can advise or suggest, just trying to find a fine balance between the two.
A trigger.
Especially for the younger category.
Okay. Thanks for the question, Jane. A trigger on social media is people are faking it. People are faking it on social media. You would think this person is perfect. Yeah? Like this person is made of, it's like, God, why? Mbona si mimi? Like, why is this person so perfect?
We need holy dust.
Yeah. People need to be real. That's why social media is created.
Yeah.
You need to be real. You will notice the people who come out and talk about their problems and their victory, like
they're victimized,
like how they're successful and how they go through so many problems. These are people, now those are the people who are called influencers, because you're not just showing the fake side about yourself. And this is, everyone is opening social media every day. Your children will soon, daddy niko Facebook, akini nimeona sijui nani amevaa nini, ako so perfect. Mtu akienda nyumbani anajifunga sijui kitambaa. As in, they don't show that side, Factory reset, real quick.
Yeah.
So people need to be real, because mental illness, people compare themselves. Yes. The way I kept saying, comparison. People compare themselves with other people. And when they enter social media, they compare themselves. Why am I not like this person? Why isn't my life like this? So people need to stop comparing themselves. Social media, a victory on social media is social media can be used to reach to so many people.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all going IT. We're all going, everything is going IT. So everything will be social media. Everything will be the internet. Everyone is on social media. It is the right platform. If only the government, NGOs would just support. They would say, let us sponsor, we see, this person is talking about mental illness, let's sponsor their posts so that people can know. You will create so much awareness.
Yes.
But you see, no one wants to do that. No one, yani, you even beg. Me personally, I literally text TV people
Yeah.
and tell them I want an interview and talk about my story. Yani, I'm the one to text someone and tell them I want my story. Instead of this person going through people's different social medias and be like, mtu anaongeleanga mental illness. This is what is happening in our country. This is the person who needs to be interviewed.
Yeah.
In every TV show, they need to be a program for mental illness.
Like this one.
Yeah. Because that's where we're headed.
Yeah.
I mean, we want everyone to know. So if you're going to take that step, that's where we're going to head to. And the moment you take that step, hashtags at social media, it's going to be positive. It's going to go all the way.
They
Hashtags,
trend.
everything. We will trend. We shall do very good.
Yes.
People will be aware and will do very good.
All
So
right.
we need to work on that.
Yes.
I don't know whether you guys heard of a story. I think it was late last year. Young guy in Nyahururu, Nyandarua, posted something, and they were going through a hard time, and they said, "This is it." And friends like we are just went and said, kwani unangoja nini? And unfortunately the kid succeeded in killing himself. And so in terms of social media, again, I was that kind of person, where
One of
like
those.
especially my friends. Winnie has been my friend for the longest time. Unfortunately, I didn't know she had
Challenges.
challenges and depression and all, but probably if she would have posted that sasa wewe mama nini mbaya nawe, instead
Usikize
of
shida zako, si tuko na zetu.
so let's be kind of sensitive
Yeah.
in how we and there's a post you will read and you will know Eddie Joe is crying out.
Yeah.
So Jane, that's why you call, hey you guy, uko fiti hivyo tu. It's not even about money, it's not just and I have been trying to do that. I've been trying to, unfortunately sometimes when you try too much, people think like you're poking in, but just pick that call, Mazi. Pick that call and be careful what you post.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now also, I'd like for you, Dr. to speak about social media and children. Just the other day, we were seeing this video of the young boy from Consolata. And we're all so quick to judge, kijana kona tabia mbaya. And we are looking at the bad instead of, because that was just a manifestation of a problem that lies deeper. When it comes to our children and social media, because you find parents are the ones who are opening accounts for their children to use their ID numbers. Controlling social media for our children in a way that will help build them and not destroy them while at it.
Yeah, that's true. I think our parents are too lenient. You're buying more smartphones for our children and not checking on what they are seeing or what they are watching. Definitely we have to control because social media can be dangerous just as it can be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think we have to have some control. And parents just have to, they have to know this. They have to, it's really wrong just to spoil your children and allow them that freedom on the internet and the social media. It's dangerous.
and especially now,
There are even
especially when you
stalkers
have
in the
small children.
Facebook and
Yeah.
cyberbullying. Yeah. And many getting depressed because of cyberbullying. That's a problem.
Yeah.
As well as these people who stalk, they're looking for friends for, what do you call them? The stalkers, I think there's a name for people. You make friends, you meet them in the internet, then they are harmful. Yeah, there's a name for
the
them.
fake accounts.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Parents should not allow that.
Especially with parents these days, ukiona mtoto wako anasumbua, shika
Shika
YouTube.
simu.
Watch cartoon. Do something.
Anasumbua.
Don't always throw a gadget at your child.
Yeah.
Throw a book.
True.
Let them mumble if they don't know how to read. All right, as we bring the conversation to close, maybe let me start with you, Winnie. Just your word of advice to our viewers and the rest of the population when it comes to mental illnesses, it is real, and how to go about it.
I'll say mental illness is real. Yeah, you might think I got this figured out. You don't. Like when I discovered it, I was shocked because I didn't imagine.
That
Sometimes
you
you
would
think of
actually,
yourself
like,
too highly. Yeah, but it can get you. You're not too far from it. You might ignore it, but you're not too far from it. It's
Okay.
the next. It's on your next. It's on your next door. So just beware, and don't ignore it, and look out for those people around you.
All right.
Yeah.
Dr. your word of advice to the rest of the population?
Mental illness is a growing problem. In the last 5 years, I think it's gone up by 18% in Kenya. It's actually increasing. The role of the family is so important. You know, it starts with the parents. They need to know proper parenting, and parenting, children look at them, you know, so they need to be role models. They need to be available for the children, both father and mother, available for all the children, and just monitor them, take time for them, because sometimes parents are not there, and the children are missing that parenting role. So it's very important that at that level, that stability, family stability, very important for the foundation of a normal child growing up to be a normal person.
All right.
Yeah.
Wendy, take this time to address the nation.
Yes. I will touch on what I keep touching on, because that's where we can only get help, you know. Medical insurances, guys, you need to sort that out. You need to look at us as normal people. We are normal people with normal illnesses. A mental illness is like umo na tumbo ntu venye, it's for the brain, you know. So we need to know mental illness needs to stop having a limit of 250, 500,000. That's one admission, Jane. One admission clears that 500,000 because of how expensive medication is. Or if not that, NGOs need to make a way of reducing prices, sponsoring our medication, and reducing the same way they went through HIV.
Cost-effective medication.
Yeah, exactly. So kindly cut costs for these people. We might afford. People in Kibera cannot. These people do not even know where to go. They do not know who to talk to. But we need to literally come out and try and cut costs on everything. Psychiatrists are very expensive. These people, guys, what? For you to see that optimum psychiatrist, you're going to pay like 4K, G5K.
Per session?
Per session.
Wow.
One session.
Yeah.
Tell me someone who's just hustling and she's a single
And
mother,
homeless.
atatoa hiyo pesa. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So
All
we
right.
need to try. The government needs to come in, the NGOs, UN, Red Cross, all these guys, kindly come, sit down and look at it as a matter, because this is something that needs to be addressed.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Eddie Joe.
Cool. Just like diabetes, just like high blood pressure, we have got into a place where we have accepted these things. That's how we should accept mental wellness, health, and illness. Lost in Time seeks to deal with the 4 issues I mentioned. My prayer would be that we get time. It moves even beyond its entity as a film, goes into probably start a foundation, even, especially for artists and actors, because we go through a lot.
I know.
A lot. Hollywood in itself, they
Yeah.
go through a lot with all the monies and all. The most funny, you know, Robin Williams, rest in peace, you know, is Miss Doubtfire. He made us laugh, and then he has depression.
Yeah.
Government can come on board in terms of just pushing this talk. Let me take this time to invite guys for Lost in Time.
Yeah.
It premieres on the 24th of October at Diamond Plaza, Anga IMAX from 5 p.m.
Yeah.
It's a red carpet affair. Tickets are online. You can
Give
follow
us the social media handles.
you can follow the page. Let me just give Lost in Time. That is Facebook and Instagram. Lost in Time.
All right.
Everything is there. We are releasing the official trailer on Wednesday. The posters and the teasers and snippets are already out. Let's have this conversation. Let's talk about it. And our prayer, even as Film Lab, is that this film may be used far and beyond to reach out to the many people who would want help.
All right. And
Thank you.
especially now, film is actually gaining the traction when it comes to bringing these issues to life. So we do hope from this conversation you're better positioned to understand, you know, mental health is not a disease that cannot affect anyone. It is a disease just like any other. It can affect anyone. It is how we deal with it that is the problem. So let us change our attitudes and our approaches to mental health illnesses and wellness, and that way we're able to get this conversation going and bringing the change that we need. All right. Well, I have been speaking with 4 fantastic guests, 3 ladies and a gent. I'll start with the lady on the bottom left of your screen. She is Winnie Doza, who is an artist. Thank you, Winnie. Juyake, we have Wendy Njoroge, a mental health entrepreneur. Thank you, Wendy. To her, that is her right, we have Eddie Joe Mwaniki, who is a script writer working with Film Lab Kenya. And finally, on the bottom left of your screen, rather, we have Dr. Margaret Mathanyingo, who is a psychiatrist and the CEO of Oasis Mental Health here in Kenya. Thank you very much for being with us this morning.
You're welcome.
We appreciated your time.
You're welcome.
Now that puts a cap on the discussion here in studio, but we still have a few minutes, about 9 minutes to go. We want to quickly link up with Doreen Arang and see the situation on the road before we get to call it a day right here on Good Morning Kenya. So Miss D, if you can hear us, do